No, I'm here. Chat. I'm here. I was totally not watching the cringe boys. I need to watch the boys though. I need to watch it in order for me to comment on it. It's the burden of being a content creator. You gotta watch the stuff. And yeah, I saw the episode 3. Again, you have this guy goes into I guess it's like a place where the good guys gather, and he's like, where are you keeping the kids? I know you have kids in the basement. It's like child pizza is what you call it, and he pulls out a gun. It's a little bit on the nose, as we discussed in the previous stream. But that's what happened in The Boys. Very entertaining, I guess. Top American entertainment. Yeah, The Boys is not one for the boys. We're going to watch CNN today. And I remember when I grew up, people used to call the television the idiot box. I guess they don't call it like this anymore due to the fact that not that many people watch television. But before that, I wanna show you something else. Like, this is a famous TikTok video. Usually when I see TikTok, I gotta wonder, is it a bit? Like, are they parodying, or is this legit? So, I don't know. Let's see. It's got 1.9 million views. It's pretty viral.
12-year-old! A 12-year-old! You hit a 12-year-old! Turn around! Tell them you're sorry and I won't call the police! You can't hit a 12-year-old! Hit me! Hit me! Don't hit a 12-year-old! Here, slap me! Don't hit him, because he has a right to carry his flag! An autistic 12-year-old! You hit a 12-year-old, ma'am! You have no right to hit a 12-year-old.
You need to back up.
Slap me.
Back up.
Slap me. She hit a 12-year-old.
I was right behind you.
I videoed it. I had my video right here. She hit him right in the arm. He's autistic.
She bumped him.
No, she threw her elbow. I've got it right here.
No, she bumped
So did you hit him?
Why would you need to even touch the purse? Like, oh, I hit him. No, I didn't. No, why would you need to touch someone else's child? Like, what are the circumstances in which it's even remotely acceptable? But, like, what I got from this is this particular image, and I would like to put it in a museum. I would like to preserve this for the future generations. I would like this to be in a place where our great-great-great-grandchildren could look at it and they're like, wow, this is the culture of 2025. It explains everything, doesn't it? It's like, literally 1,000 words into one picture. You can't make a better, more accurate representation of the United States of America than this particular picture. It should even be a meme, honestly. Too bad you can't force memes into being. But you know, like, you have like the lady screaming at cat video. You got the dog and the house is on fire. Like those types of memes. Like this one should be kind of like the one with the jealous girlfriend. It's kind of like that. Yeah, I don't think it was the rainbow flag, though. I have a feeling it was the American flag that they're talking about. You know, it's kind of hilarious because back in 2014, when all of this was uncertain if it's actually going to get mainstream, like we used to have Tumblr on the internet and we used to make fun of Tumblr all the time. But turns out that Tumblr was a containment zone, and the moment that Tumblr went under, that's when all the craziness exploded everywhere. So, back in 2014, I was making a joke and saying that the American flag is a hate symbol. And now people are unironically behaving as it is. Like, if you paint a rainbow drawing on the sidewalk and someone leaves skid marks on it, up to 10 years in prison. But the American flag, if it's waved by a kid, he gets, he gets smacked, or whatever that lady did. So Asmagor react to another one of your videos, and then Legal Mindset reacted to the same video live on stream. What the fuck? Did he? Alright, hold on. Legal Mindset reacted to my video. Why did Legal Mindset react to my video? I hope I'm not getting sued. Because I was going off on a rumor there. I had to mention it in the title just to stay on the safe side. What do we get? Which one is it? We got people charging at Gargura. The impotent war against VTubers. Is this still a thing though? Gargura. How many views, how many subscribers that she's got? Like 3 million or some shit? So like, where is he responding to my video? Is this one? Hold on, I need to look at the chat. I'm asking questions, but I'm not looking for the answers. Oh, it was a live stream. Oh, naruhodo. Monkey King stumps game journalists. I think this may be the one. You just get past to the commercials. Alright, oh, here we go. Holy shit, he does respond to what I made. Imagine this person surrounded by cat. God, do you know how awful it is to hear my own voice? Jesus fucking Christ, I can't stand it.
His take on this, because he's the one who kind of unearthed this. And this is the attempt to extort them, right? Which came from Sweet Baby and the woke crowd. So let's watch this here.
Here we have Kojima praising one of the games that most gamers are praising. Like, it's very difficult to go on any forum right now without hearing people say good. I wish I could disagree with this dude, but like, he's so fucking right. Everything he says, I agree 100%. Things about Wukong. It's difficult not to say. I mean, I saw the... It's such an interesting thing. Like, Wukong, when you think about it, it's not that revolutionary of a game. It's literally a Dark Souls clone. But the other video games are so phenomenally shit. Like when you think about America, they're investing hundreds of millions of dollars to create shit. So that when you just make a clone of another video game, people are like worshipping that. They're like, oh my god, like, I finally get to play something. My hobby is coming back. I'm telling you, if in 2014, I remember if a game looked even remotely similar to another game, people would be like, nah, this is a clone game. Nah. Make something original. Like, why can't you make something innovative? That's what people used to say back in the golden era of video games. And now, you get a video game that's like, oh, it actually has women in it. It's got some interesting gameplay, and everyone is like, whoa, amazing, oh, amazing. It's like, yeah, it is amazing, but it's not amazing because it is. It's amazing because everything else is shit. Trailer looks good, right? It does look good, though. One of the few games that I'm actually interested in, and here you have... See, when I look at Legal Mindset, I notice that I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one that wobbles back and forth in the fucking chair while talking. I always thought, like, should I wobble or shouldn't I wobble? But now I see other streamers more popular than me wobbling, so I'm like, I guess I'm doing fine. Have the person with the blue heart, right? Like, this person emanates with compassion. I wonder what the blue heart means, because I see, like, a lot of these individuals, a lot of these people on Twitter, left-leaning people, they have the blue heart. And is it like a cancer awareness type of thing? Like what exactly is it? Because I get the Palestinian flag. I get the rainbow flag, but the blue heart. Oh shit, I can copyright my... Yeah, I can copyright strike myself now. That is true. Like, of course I'm self-conscientious. You'd be a content creator and put your face out there in front of hundreds of thousands of people and not be self-conscientious. You fucking do it. With empathy, unfortunately, is the Western type. Do you know what's worse than hearing my own voice speak? Hearing my own voice on double the speed. Listen to this.
And if you check this person, so the person on the bottom here, you may not be able to see it, but her name is Allie, and what she wrote says, seeing you promoting and praising a game studio with such a fervent history of sexism and hatred is really disappointing to me.
Sexismus. Allie, I already said I will buy the game. You don't have to sell it to me. It's like, if it makes left-leaning people sad, I want to buy it even more. I want to support it now. Because this is what you guys have been doing for the last 4 years, was like a moral compass. It's like, let's use conservatives as a moral compass. Does it piss off conservatives? We need more of it. And now I'm like, you know what? They have the right idea in mind. They genuinely know how to have fun. So whenever there's an entertainment thing, whenever there's something that pisses off the left, I'm like, you know what? What would the left do? Because they win. Like, they managed to dominate the cop. What would they do? Buy it. Okay, well, that's what I'm doing. So you don't have to try and sell it to me. I already said I'll buy it.
Right? So I love how Western people, specifically, usually like of a woke persuasion, will.
I love that expression. I need to a woke persuasion. It's a really nice way to put it. It's like what is woke? I don't know, but I know what a woke persuasion is. It's when you can't persuade someone to understand what is a woman. That's what a woke persuasion is. Boycott? Oh.
Make these comments, and I guarantee you, this woman does not speak Chinese. If you are commenting on...
You don't need to speak Chinese, though. I will have to defend this woman. I'm sorry, Legal Mindset, but I'll have to... on Twitter, you have like this little blue link, which is like translate into English. And it automatically just translates into English. Like, you do not need to actually speak Chinese. It's on Twitter. And we also have ChatGPT. Like, you can screenshot something and put it to ChatGPT. Come on, Legal Mindset. It's 2024. It's current year. We have the technology.
A post that is in a foreign language. And you don't, like, at least have an idea of what it says. Maybe you shouldn't make bold assumptions. Maybe you should say, oh, well, maybe this is what it says. I don't...
Oh, come on. You're going to make Twitter dull. If leftists can't post on Twitter, we will run out of content. You know it. I know it. Let's not even go there. Let leftists post. I'm for free speech. Leftists should spend at least 1 hour a day on Twitter. It should be a mandatory thing for them.
I don't know. This is what they're attempting to say, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, maybe you should pump the brakes a little bit, right? From, okay, this is...
Nonsense. If I see a leftist, I want him to accelerate. Or her. A maximum speed. There are no brakes. No, there's no brakes on this train. Just let them say exactly what they're thinking.
Fervent proof of sexism, right?
I mean, look. Like, you want to take away this gold mine away from me. You want me to take away the... No, leave it there. Leave it there for everyone to see. It's amazing.
And yes, I think Kick V is an inside joke. I forget where from. Is it from Flashcast?
It used to be that they wanted Don Sargone, and Don Sargone wouldn't come to the stream, so what they would do is they would start slandering Don Sargone in the hopes that Don Sargone would come on the stream to clear the air. But what would happen instead is that I would offer to join, and I would clear Don Sargone's name, and people were upset that they were like, Kick V because, well, he's... Like, that's not... No, we want Sargone. We want... That's where it came from.
Or somewhere else? There might be somewhere else. But let's continue. But yeah, it's a joke.
Seeing you promoting and praising a game studio with such a fervent history of sexism and hatred is really disappointing.
Can you have sexism without hatred? Like are there you know, like, isn't it like an oxymoron? Can you have like loving sexism? Like sexism and kindness and compassion? Like, is that... They just want to throw the buzzwords, don't they? But they don't really have anything in the basket. Like, the basket is empty and they want to keep throwing buzzwords, so they have to throw the same buzzwords twice.
Waiting to see, right? So, imagine this person surrounded by cat piss, like sitting in a room going like... Right? The moral condemnation.
I miss the old days too, Artemis Fowl. The old days were great.
I mean, this person is so...
Well, this person is probably, once again, in a room full of... They're probably a very miserable person. Anybody who's sitting here shitting, who's spending their day shitting on games that other people love and looking for this stuff, the real problem, the real issue is this person, like Ali here. Ali is a miserable person.
Either that or they're a billionaire. Like, a lot of grifters make a lot of money on this shit, right? So Ali may even be a bot for all we know. It's like, go attack studio, so studio hires consultants.
Ali is not happy. Like, I lead most of my days very happily. I am happy to wake up in the morning. I'm happy to be streaming with you guys. I'm happy to talk about, you know, these topics with you guys. This person is a miserable person. I guarantee you.
virtuous. They're above you. They're your moral superior. And they just look at
Look how awful my voice is when I'm double the speed.
They're like Jesus Christ sitting on the throne. They're like, yeah, I always found it fascinating. The fact that the leftists think they have the moral high ground to issue these condemnations. You do realize that most of the technology you're using that involves some level of cobalt in it probably comes from child slavery.
No. Like unironically, I went there because I know Vosh has brought it up, so like leftists are aware. Like you need to understand the mindset of the leftists, right? If CNN didn't report on it, or Vosh didn't make a video, it doesn't exist. So you gotta use some of the arguments that they're aware. And it's true, right? Like if you were to complain, you'd start complaining with the more serious issues and then work your way from there. So before even getting into video games, it would be like, why do you have a gaming rig to begin with? Because that supports child slavery. And it's true, like there are many places in the world, and you can even find them on TikTok and YouTube, like they're not hidden, like they're not, outside of the range of cameras or anything, but you do have children working in the mines, trying to harvest the components, the rare earth minerals required in order to make our day-to-day technology here in the West. Yeah, like that actually happens, and you don't see leftists even bring it up, they don't even care. Like they will talk about slavery, just not that one. Is that...
It's so funny how, like, this is one of the things I love, that all the DEI people that are like, oh, or the people are say, oh, this is cruelty free and this is environmentally friendly. It's like, oh yeah, does that have cobalt in it? Does that have lithium in it? Yeah, there's probably some slave labor.
Do you know what's interesting about this, right? Like, our ancestors worked really hard to liberate the children from the mines. And yet nowadays, what is one of the most popular games with kids? It's Minecraft, isn't it? It's fucking Minecraft. What? Is there like some form of like ancestral memory, like repressed memory thing with like, how birds know how to migrate and return to the same countries? Is it like that? It's so fucking bizarre, isn't it? Like, the more you think about it, it doesn't make any sense to me.
Or some like child labor in that, or it comes from a conflict area.
Artemis Fowl, bring back the Bloodsports days. I am bored. I want to make thousands of people angry at me for making their favorite streamer look bad. Well, the problem is, like, YouTube has now regulations against Bloodsports. Like, they literally decided to make it against the terms of service to slander other content creators. Not necessarily to slander. To criticize other content creators, right? So because of that, and this is like very subjective. I think like they call it terms of service against harassment and bullying, right? But what exactly is harassment and bullying? Like, let's say a content creator did something really vile, and you're just reporting on it, and you're going like, is that harassment and bullying? And it's like, well, it depends how they apply the rules, isn't it? So this is why you do not get any more IBS nowadays. This is why the whole thing doesn't exist anymore. Yeah, you know what? Like Minecraft lithium mod, that should actually be a thing, or Minecraft cobalt. Like you harvest the cobalt in order to make your gaming rig. I see people on YouTube criticize each other every day. Well, the thing is, like, the rule exists, right? The question is when it's going to be applied. Probably they're small streamers, but, like, if you were to have, like, the same crowd that used to exist back in the day, and it would gather, like, 20,000 live viewers and they shit on each other, it depends. I have seen a lot of rules that don't get applied, and then they do. And when it does, you don't have any recourse, because they'll be like, well, you did break the rule. For instance, what the fuck was her name? Suzy Lu? I think, yeah. Like, someone made fun of a person's forehead. Immediately, they got a community guideline strike. And it was, like, such a mild criticism. So, like, it really depends who you're making fun of. What are you saying? Who's the moderator that investigates the case? So on and so forth.
So, how about that? That is so true. That is so true. That people do not proactively think about what they're doing. They just want the virtue signal points.
Like, probably, it's most likely.
Because the children yearn for the cobalt mines. Quiet. You're gonna get us. You're gonna get us in trouble. You're gonna.
Well, dude, children yearn for Minecraft. I'm willing to bet that there's a kid out there who mommy said you're not allowed to use the laptop to play Minecraft anymore, and he started crying.
You get us in trouble.
Now, I don't understand the argument like, hey, you know, you need a laptop in order to function in a first world country. You need a smartphone. But do you really need a gaming rig? I guess, like, from the left perspective, you know, some children's suffering is okay as long as they get to play their video games, right? Well, as long as the video games are made from departments that aren't sexist or hateful. That's also important. You know, like, serious question, though. I want to take a leftist and run a social experiment. And you get them to play a really, really fun game. Like a game that's insanely fun to play. You know, like it's the type of game that you'll remember it after like 10 years. But it's made by sexist, racist people. It's like the people from KKK made that game. It's like, right? Like the most vile people imaginable. But the game itself is not like that. Like the game itself is just like wholesome fun. Like think about like Mass Effect, you know? Like assume that you go back in time, you never played Mass Effect, and Mass Effect was actually made by some really, really bad people. So you get to play Mass Effect, and then you get to play Forspoken, which is like the opposite. You know, it's made by the doctors and engineers, the pillars of our community. It's made by some of the best and compassionate and kind individuals, but the game is shit. It doesn't even run properly. Which game would the leftists choose? Like you have to, you know what? Let's make it like this, actually. They have to sit in a room where you only have, like, very small space. You got a toilet, you got, like, a tray to put your food on, and then you have, like, a desktop PC, and you can only leave the room once you finish the game. You got a bed as well, right? So, like, you can't do anything else. You gotta finish the game. You gotta play it. But the thing is, like, you need to choose between a good game made by bad people and a bad game made by good people. What would the left choose, though? How many of them would go for Forspoken? The Nazis can really make video. I mean, holy shit! If you look at the golden age of video games, right, of John Carmack and everyone else, none of those motherfuckers were politically correct. I mean, just GTA alone had like so much, had so many slurs in it, and like you get like that GTA. I forgot what it's called, but when you play as a black protagonist, and almost everything is a racial stereotype. Or Manhunt. Holy shit! If Manhunt came out today, it's one of the only games that got an adult rating, not for pornography, but simply because the game is so violent and so over the top that it got an AO rating. Impossible V, leftists don't buy games. It's why all of their boycott fails. They do not represent those who actually prop up the industry. You're kind of incorrect. I saw Vosh playing video games. I mean, he does talk more than he plays, but I have seen it happen. The thing though is, if you look at Reset Era, where it's like one of the most leftist sub-forums that exist, you used to have like the moderators, obviously, you know, being against Hogwarts, like, oh, that video game, oh, it's disrespectful because it feeds J.K. Rowling, it puts food on her table, so we cannot allow this game to be praised. So what do they do? What do the mods from Reset Era, who really hate Hogwarts and encourage people to boycott the game, what do they do? First of all, they buy ads from Hogwarts Legacy or Reset Era, so you were not allowed to promote or talk about Hogwarts, even though there were ads on the fucking banner of Reset Era. And then people go to the moderators, they go to the admins that made the law that made the rule that you're not allowed to talk about this game, and they look on their Steam account and they have been playing the game for hundreds of hours. I mean, shit, man. I don't know what to say about that. What makes you think you bought it? It could have been gifted. It's true. I can't refute that, Artemis Fowl. It is true. It's possible that Vosh did not buy Alien Isolation and was actually getting it from him. disgusting part, because that argument is extreme. Is it though? I mean, they're fine with that, but they're not fine with like their definition of whatever the fuck sexism is at a studio, right? Like, and notice how like if you buy a Blizzard game, but if you recommend Blizzard as a studio, it's perfectly fine. But for some reason, if you recommend the game from Wukong, it's not. Why? Yeah, the moment you hire the grifters, the moment you do the speech, the moment you walk the walk, all of a sudden it's like a two-tier system, right? If you don't hire the grifters, if you don't speak the speech, it's like, oh, we here worship diversity, we worship inclusivity. You know, like if you don't do that, oh, the moment you have a sexy woman, isn't that sexism? Oh, that is sexism, isn't it? Oh my god, they have sexism. But if you're a studio that does like the worst shit imaginable, including drinking the breast milk of women from your refrigerator, all of a sudden it's like, oh, they're so progressive, oh, so good. Even though they put out shit games, like notice the names of the people responsible for making Forspoken isn't known. But the names of people from, you know, like Stellar Blade and shit was going around in all these publications and accusations of sexism and misogyny and all that shit. And I also want to point out something else that's interesting. When the game journalist attacks the studio, that's called shining a light. That is shining a light. But when the gamer criticizes a woke studio, that is encouraging harassment. Even though it's like the same fact. And by the way, notice how the game journalists never call other game journalists. They never call them out. They never call game developers out like, hey, maybe you should stop harassing the gamer. They never do that. But they always say like, why don't gamers call each other out? Why don't they talk and speak out against the... I will start speaking out when I see game journalists speak out against other game journalists. Because I've been harassed by game journalists. It's true. It's horrible. I wouldn't wish it on anyone. Traumatizing experience. You know what's even more traumatizing? When I tell it, people laugh. Which is why I don't even want to talk about it. It's like the shame, the stigma of being harassed by a game journal. Opening your computer, going on Twitter. See the game journal with the blue check mark say disparaging thing about you and your community. It hurts, Chad. Fucking hurts. And when you tell it to other people, they laugh at you. And it hurts even more. Why is that? So like
because they don't control game science. They only allow things they control. We saw it happen with Shift Up. They don't control Shift Up. And this is going to be this like weird thing with the East versus the West. And I've talked about this a lot on this channel, as well as on my other channel, Go East Gentlemen, which I have to deal with an appeal on that channel because they're trying to say I reuse something. So I got to like fight something with YouTube later on that channel. But that said, you know,
reused content. Yeah, basically if you re-upload your videos, or if you upload videos where most of it's reused content, yeah, they don't like that.
One big thing with the East versus the West here is that these people in these Western DEI initiatives, Bridge, etc., Sweet Baby, when they're realizing they can't control these people and these game companies, they're freaking out because they're like, oh shit, they're gonna beat our AAA games on.
Yeah. Like that is part of it, but it's also, this is like the tactic that they used on the West. Like on the West, if you guys remember back in 2014, they were attacking all video games. I mean, the whole purpose of Anita Sarkeesian and her ilk was to attack video game companies. At the moment a video game company would buckle and they would be like, hey, sure, we're part of the diversity team now. They would attack every company except that one. Right? And that's how they managed to get in. Like, this is the tactic for them getting in. The thing is, it's actually working. Like, Legal Mindset is, I don't know if he's going to point it out, but like in Japan, they already buckled. Capcom buckled. Square Enix buckled. I think like Nintendo hasn't buckled yet. But like, you notice that they are buckling. Like, even in Japan. And everyone thought, oh, well, it's never going to happen in Japan because Japan is different. Japan is like the fucking wall in Game of Thrones. Like, it's not different. It's just that the message reaches there very late. They get the news last. But it still happened. They still get the news. And Japan is just starting wokeness. Like, hopefully, though, what we will see happen is that wokeness will go away in the West. We might actually see some good AA games becoming AAA companies. And Japan, is going to go woke, and no one is going to play Japanese games for a while, and everyone is going to play Chinese games, South Korean games, AA games from the West. But right now, looking at Capcom, go play Street Fighter. The first thing that you get is a body type B diverse character that is sexually harassing you on your screen in the intro. Right after you create your own character and assign its pronouns. It's like, that's a Japanese game now. That's Capcom. And, there's other bizarre decisions from Square Enix and shit. I do think, the games are going to get actually worse. Who actually made Silent Hill? Silent Hill, immediately, manly jawlines, mandatory. Every single female character needs to have them. And there's always a lore reason for them. Apparently, the female character in that game is a victim of sexual abuse. So obviously she needs to have a manly jawline. How can she not? And if you complain, it's like, oh, so you want porn? Do you not know that the character is a victim of sexual? It's like, what the fuck? No, I just want her to look like a woman, like she looked in the original. What the fuck is wrong with you? Jesus fucking Christ, Twitter. Holy shit. Somebody tell the Yakuza who the real competition is. Didn't they already mess with the Yakuza game? They hired this very untalented voice actor. I don't know the name of him. But it became a meme. Especially that singing part of the game. The thing with Japan is that I do not know how the ESG money is going to influence Japan. From my business dealings with Japanese artists and Japanese people, they are insanely risk adverse. Incredibly so. They are some of the most conservative businessmen that you can meet. They have a way of doing things and they will not change their mind. They exactly know, this is how it's being done. And they won't change their mind. So they're very risk adverse. Now with ESG, they will see, especially that in the West, companies are going bankrupt for doing this ESG shit. And I think it will take one or two companies just going under and they'll go no. Unironically, DEI may save Japan. If the 2D are ugly enough and annoying enough, the men may actually go out and talk with real women for the chess move. While I know that is a joke, I never understand this American argument. It's so batshit bizarre that the idea that the birth rates are low is because of pornography, right? So I need to believe this is the vision that is being inflicted upon me, right? This is what is asked of me to believe. That there is a man out there who has a tsunami of pussy. He's got all the hot girls calling him. He's got all the women being attracted and interested in him. But he's no, ladies, I am sorry, but I'll watch my anime. I will hug my Dakimakura pillow. Is that really the thing? Because the way I view it, and I said this on another stream, the best way to compare dating is with job employment. It's literally the same thing, right? It's two people trying to get together in order to have a relationship. Except one is a business relationship, the other one is a romantic relationship. But the same idea applies. So you have the company which has extremely unreasonable standards. The company, let's say it only wants to hire engineers that worked at least 10 years at Google, and they also offer you minimum wage. Right? And all the companies in the country are like that. So unemployment is skyrocketing. Now you're telling me that if these people who go home, they LARP as having a job, right? Because all the unemployed people are very depressed that they're unemployed. They're very depressed that they can't find jobs. And the only thing of happiness that they get, they're so pathetic, it's so laughable that they go home and they LARP as if having a job. And they consume media where, they watch TV shows like The Office and they like to see stuff where everyone is employed. And now you have people coming in and instead of pointing out, hey, maybe the companies are the problem here, right? Maybe they're the bottleneck. Maybe they should start hiring because companies don't have employees either. They have such ridiculous standards that no one works there either. So the companies are the problem. No, you're blaming the people that are looking for jobs and they are so depressed that they actually, oh, is it the microphone? What the fuck is with my microphone? Why is it like this? Hold on. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Is it better? Right. So as I was saying, you know, like in a situation where all the companies are having unreasonable expectations from people, you can't blame the people for being sad and miserable and LARPing as if they have a job. From people. Okay, it's good. Anyway, Nightmare, conservatives always bend over backwards to evade blaming women for anything. They'll blame anime, adult content, video games, but not women. I'm not even blaming women. I'm just looking at the situation and I'm saying, like, you need to point out where the bottleneck is. I mean, it's not necessarily like a blame or anything. I don't think like people should be forced to have a significant others if they don't want, but like it's obviously the problem is not, oh, you don't have pornography, now everyone is going out and dating. It's like saying, oh, well, if people wouldn't LARP as being employed, they would go out and find a job. It's like they are going out, they are trying to find a job, but like no one wants to hire them. And it's the same thing with this. It's like, okay, well, if there wasn't pornography, that doesn't necessarily mean that women are going to date the men that they're not interested in. I mean, it's not for like, it's also the idea that it's exclusive, right? Like, if you watch porn, you will never go out and date. It's like, I'm sorry, but that's not the case. There are many people that watch porn and they also go out dating. It's like, well, why do they have to pick? Why do they have to choose? Like, how much porn do people watch? Now, if you're watching porn the entire day, then you actually do have a problem, and the problem is addiction. You're watching too much. Reduce the number. Watch less. So, but like, if someone watches it, I don't know, like 30 minutes a day, is that a problem? I don't think it's a problem. An American may think it's a problem, but like, if you're talking realistically, like, come on, like 30 minutes a day? Depends, like, how old is the person? 25? I think it's okay. I think, like, it's reasonable. Women in Japan want too many things from a guy. I mean, look at the West, right? Like, there's so many TikTok videos where women actually say what they want from a man. And it's usually like, okay, they want him to make $100,000 a year. They want him to have a PhD. They want him to be a Democrat. They want him to be like 6'5". They want him to be of a specific race and ethnicity. They want him to be like kind, compassionate, caring. They want him to be athletic. And you're looking at it and it's like, okay, so you want like probably 0.0.1% of the population, which is literally what I'm talking about. It's like a company that only wants to hire someone that worked 10 years at Google. And then the next question is like, what do you offer? And you're looking at them and they're middle-aged women. They just barely string two words together. They're not funny. They're not charismatic. And it's like, okay, but like the men that you want, those 0.0.1%, they do exist. They're real, but they're not interested in you. They're also interested in the 0.01% of the women. So like, you have a system where everyone is miserable. I mean, the guys are miserable, the women are miserable, everyone is miserable. And it's like, okay, but I don't think it's because of porn. I genuinely, like, I am willing to bet that if you arrest everyone, like every single person that trades in pornography, from tomorrow, you will still have the same dating crisis that exists today. Nothing would change. It is, and I wouldn't even say that is the porn age, because a lot of people say, well, the internet exists now, so everyone can have access to it. I remember when I was a kid, and I used to see this in all the kiosks and shit. There used to be porn magazines in Romania, like they were actually out there, placed next to the newspaper. So you'd go like to a newspaper stand, and you would see like these naked ladies in all these magazines. And they were fully out for display. Like, after that, there were regulations. And, you know, like, you have to have, like, the naughty magazines and the X-rated stuff, like, behind the curtain so people can't see it. But when I grew up, it was like that. And it was accessible. Like, anyone that wanted to get it could get it. You didn't need to show an ID or anything. So, you know, people are comparing it with the internet, but like back then it was just a different medium. You had VHS tapes, you had actual channels on television, you had like these phone sites, like you would call a number and there was a lady on the other end of the line. There were many opportunities even before the internet. It's like, oh well, the internet makes it common. It's like, no, there used to be a South Park episode showing that what was it, like Randy Marsh had his collection, right? Like it actually shows that it was so widespread that even South Park made a joke about it. Yeah, Playboy was the vanilla one. If you are like guys I know, you stop the moment you get a girlfriend. It depends on the person, man. I generally think it becomes a problem if it's too much. Right? Like if you're actually obsessed with, because there's a difference between obsession, when you spend entire days with it, and versus like consuming it, I don't know, like 30 minutes a day or some shit. It's shameful though. It is shameful. Like, most people won't admit it, but there was this study that they wanted to see how men that watch porn behave versus men that don't. And when they found out that there is no man that doesn't watch it. The one who doesn't watch it, let me see your chat history. Let me look at it. Let me take a peek at your chat history. Let me see if you actually don't watch it. See, most people aren't honest. And it's sad. You should be honest. V is right. My brother somehow got his hands on the magazines and tapes, even though my mom kept us on a tight leash. Well, yeah, I mean, okay, so they got hands of your dad's magazine. Did your dad get a girlfriend? Of course he did. He was married. I mean, this was like the talk of the school, actually, because every now and then one of my classmates would come on and they would find like their dad's stash or some shit. Like, it was quite common. I don't know. Like, maybe in America it was different. Maybe people didn't talk about it. Maybe it's a different culture. The fuck do I know? All I got is Romanian experience. Is how it was here. Government prohibition is a quality of life destroyer. Well, this is like one of the things that people say that they want government to ban it. And it's like, okay, so if you want government to ban it, if they catch you with it, like, do you go to prison? Like, having pot? Like, they catch you with a Playboy magazine. Do they lock you up? Like, what is the solution for it? Because that's what it means to be illegal. Now, you can say, oh, I don't want it on the internet. Like, okay, so people are going to go back to magazines and VHS tapes. But instead of VHS tapes, there's going to be USBs. Anyway, let's look at CNN, because we're running out of time. So let me see if I can find that particular article. If not, I'll just talk it on my main channel. I think I'll talk about it on my main channel. But it's so funny though. It's 4 minutes of CNN coping. Listen to this.
Fight to preserve democracy. But if you ask some Trump supporters,
fight to preserve democracy. I mean, holy shit. I love the fact that it's not a fight to preserve liberty or freedom. It's to preserve okay.
The former president is not a threat to democracy because the United States is not a democracy.
I mean, I'm not from the United States, and I assume, like we're going to see in the video, it's a constitutional republic, right? What this means is that you have the Constitution, and even if you have like 50 plus 1% of the people wanting to, I don't know, ban free speech, you can't. Because the Constitution says you're not allowed. So you would need an overwhelming majority. And then the Democrats themselves are constantly complaining about the Electoral College. And they're always complaining about, oh, the popular vote this, the popular vote that. It's because it's not a democracy. If it was a democracy, you'd only look at the presidential popular vote. But the interesting thing is this is how CNN presents it, right? They're presenting it first by being extremely concerned. And then, like, look what these people are trying to accomplish, right? Like, they're not saying that, yeah, like, what they're saying is true. They're living it out in the like they're implying that these people are so insane, like it's so ridiculous. How can you not say that America is a democracy? That's ridiculous.
CNN's Donny O'Sullivan spoke to some of those supporters.
What happens?
I gotta say, usually when the media goes to talk with a group they don't like, they will go out of their way in order to find some of like the most ridiculous looking people imaginable. Like they will find the guy with the shaved hair. You know, he may have leukemia, but they're going to present him as a skinhead. And that is like the guy they interview. So the fact that they're actually interviewing these two people, it shows that probably everyone at that rally looked decent, like they're just average folk. Now, if you go to a leftist rally, you're going to find all sorts of people with bizarre tattoos and piercings and rainbow-colored hair and all that shit, you know, that scare grandma. But when you go to this rally, all of a sudden you see like just some random presentable individuals, like they look like they're probably a couple, right, an elderly couple, and they're there with Jesus. Which probably scares CNN more than anything else.
If Trump loses,
I don't see him losing.
I don't think he lost the last election, to be honest.
do you think he's going to...
Ooh, that's the soundbite. That's the soundbite that they wanted, right? Like that's literally, that's a wrap. That's a wrap, folks. Didn't they actually started pressing charges like against some people? Artemis Fowl keeps spamming me with like, they found this evidence now and they're pressing charges against this. Like, well, I'm glad that 4 years later they are.
Going to win?
Yes. Without a doubt. No doubt.
What if he doesn't this time? What happens to the country?
We're in trouble.
I love the fact, you go to some leftist guy, it's like, what happened if we're rioting, we're burning everything down, and these people like, what happens if he loses? We're in trouble.
We're done. Biden talks about democracy, saving democracy. They're the ones that are killing democracy.
Obviously, there's a lot of criticism.
I love the fact that even the interview doesn't make sense, right? So, like, they're basically saying Trump supporters don't believe in democracy, and then you're interviewing these people, and they're saying, well, yeah, but, like, the current president is killing democracy. So, like, which one is it, CNN? It seems that there's not a scientific consensus among the Trump supporters.
Criticisms of Trump that he is bad for democracy, that he's bad for American democracy.
Okay,
We
so
are a republic.
We're a republic.
We are
We're
not a
representative
democracy.
republic.
Yeah, it's literally, you don't win by getting the popular vote. Ask Hillary. Didn't CNN bitch about this? Like, isn't this like something that you would think they would know?
We're not a democracy.
One thing we've been hearing at Trump rallies like this over the past few months is that America isn't really a democracy.
America's not a democracy, it's a republic.
Like, it's not a democracy.
Hold on, let me ask Google. No, like this is like a gaslighting that I'm just going. So is America a democracy? What does Google say? America is not a direct democracy where the people vote on every issue, but a representative democracy. No. Hold on. Man, I only get fed, interesting, when I ask this question, I only get fed sources from NPR, CNN. And they all say, that they're saying it's weaponized words. No, it's very simple to explain, okay? Like, if you talk about the democracy, it means that the popular vote wins. And the founding fathers themselves, especially, I noticed you cut this, especially in the Federalist Papers, they actually say that a democracy is a failed system because you have it in Europe, and you have the special interest groups that constantly vote each other for power. So you establish something that you have in Europe. America was the electoral colleges, so that's why they really are after. It's not like democracy in the sense of, okay, it's not even the Constitution that's the thing, it's the Electoral College and the Supreme Court. Again, notice how the Democrats really hate all of the systems in place, all of the checks and balances, they despise them. They despise free speech, they despise the Second Amendment, they despise the Supreme Court, they despise the Electoral Colleges, and they also despise the fact that people are pointing out, hey, we're a constitutional republic here. We're not the European Union. Use the brave search. Hold on, I'll ask ChatGPT. You know, it's going to be to the point where the gaslighting is so encompassing that you will have to go into your library that your father left you in his will and then pick an actual book that's written with pen and paper, and you're going to look into it and it's like, oh wow, so America really is not a democracy. So I asked ChatGPT, if a person says America is not a democracy but a constitutional republic, are they correct? And ChatGPT says, in the essence, the United States is both a democracy because it involves rule by the people through elected representatives, and a constitutional republic because it governed by a constitution that limits the power of government and protects individual rights. The two terms describe different aspects of the same system of governance. Yeah, I kind of disagree with it. I would say, like, if you want to be honest about it and not CNNing it, constitutional republic is a subsect of democracy, but it's a specific subsect which also denies many of the things that happen in a democracy. So again, the perfect example is, like, in a democracy, if 50.1% of the people would want to abolish free speech, they would be able to. In fact, if, let's say, 50.1% of the people would actually want to oppress a subsection, like, let's say, enslave a part of the population or something like that, they would be able to. But in America, you can't, because you have the Constitution, and you also have the electoral colleges, which, even if, like, 50.1% of the entire people in the US would vote for one candidate, that doesn't mean that the candidate necessarily wins. It counts, like, which state voted for them, right? And then how the electoral colleges operate. That's why American elections are so confusing for the European. Like, a lot of European people don't understand American elections. They're like, but how did he lose if he had the majority of people? Like, how did Hillary lose if she had the majority of votes? Like, isn't America a democracy? Literally, this is what every single fucking European asks when discussing the US elections, because, like, every 4 years we get to see it on TV as well, and many people just don't understand the system, and they're like, what, why is it like that? And when you actually explain to them the system, they're like, wow, that's actually really great. I wish we had it in the European Union as well. Because the whole point of the system is that you have different states with different needs, right? Like, you can have a rural state which has, like, different needs, and then you can have a city state. And the perfect example is with the guns, right? If you live in a rural area where you actually have hogs, and if you call the cops, it takes like 2 or 3 hours for them to even get there, you need a gun to defend yourself. Like, by the time the cops arrive, it's too late. So you need a gun in those places. Meanwhile, if you're in the city where the cops show up within 2 minutes of you dialing 911, a lot of people are like, but why do we need guns? It's like, well, the cop comes with a gun. Like, can't we use his? Like, why do we need ours? You know, what if an accident happens? What if little Billy tinkers with it? Why? So basically, people from a different area that have to deal with different things would have different needs, right? So that if you ban the guns, then the people in the rural areas get affected. So that wouldn't be right, would it? It wouldn't be fair, right? Just because more people live in the city, you still need to be concerned and care about the people from the rural area because you need their food. Yeah, not just hogs, bears, snakes, wolves, coyotes. Yeah, like, if you live in the fucking wilderness, and there's many places in the United States where the closest gas station is at least 40 minutes drive. You're not going to get the cops coming out your door if something bad happens. I'm in constant fear of hogs. Man, they're awful. They're awful. I would be afraid of them as well. Europe will wish they had electoral college when they reach 51% Muslim population. I see in the UK that there are a lot of political candidates that are literally appealing to the Islamic vote and nothing else, right? So they're like, I'm a Sharia candidate, and they just BTFO Labour and the Conservatives out of the water, right? So the left and the right, they don't have an answer for this. And yeah, like you will actually see that without an electoral college, you will have like certain cities and certain places where the population is very high and they support these candidates, and then you're going to see the Free Palestine marches amplifying. I don't understand like why they think electoral college is a bad idea, but that's what you get when you get democracy. There's nothing wrong with hogs, dude. Like, their nature's tanks. Especially, oh my god, like if the hog has piglets, holy shit. They're aggressive. They can gorge you. Like, what are you talking about? Hogs are dangerous. Dude, like if you don't have a problem with hogs, you either never seen one in real life, or you don't know what you're talking about. Or you're trolling. Even in a city, I grew up in a town with a population of 25,000. We would have black bears walking through our town every couple of years. Yeah, but like at least in a city, if you cry for help, there's people that are willing to, you know, that assist you. Like there's still people on the streets and stuff. So usually even bears like do not mess with people because they understand that humans are dangerous. But if you're in the wilderness, like you're in no man's land, and all of a sudden you see a bear, like there's no one that's going to help you. You're on your own. Hogs in Texas are like Romanian stray dogs, but more dangerous, heavier, and prolific. Kind of like crocodiles in Florida, right? Like you keep seeing these videos from the United States with crocodile. Most of them are in Florida, and my fucking god, that's scary. Like I don't know what I would do. Like seeing a crocodile on your lawn. Like shit. That's and the funny thing is, like, I see people trying to catch them with their bare hands, and it's like, why are you doing that? Just wait for the authorities. Holy crap. Even bears understand that humans are dangerous. I mean, from the perspective of an animal, we probably frighten them because we're so tall. And animals are usually risk adverse. Like, animals know that if they haven't encountered the creature before and they're not starving, they probably won't fuck with it. And not to mention, like, there's probably some evolutionary thing, because at one point, you know, humans did have spears, and they were very aggressive towards anything that came in their territory. So maybe there is some evolutionary thing to that. Gator poppers attack less people than pit bulls. Dude, it doesn't fucking matter. Dude, like, see, I don't get, like, some individuals on the internet, right? Like, if you see a gator, are you going to rationalize, okay, let's see what are the statistics. How likely is it that it's going to attack me or not? It's like, first of all, the statistics don't apply to people with gators in their lawn, right? Like, if you go out in the yard and you see a gator, I would not quote statistics at it. It's like, how likely is it that people have one in their yard? It's literally the same shit with what do you want to meet in the woods if you're a woman, a man or a bear. And women go, it's like, well, there's more men that kill women than bears. It's like, yeah, because you're more likely to be in proximity of a man than with a bear. But if you are in the proximity of a bear as often as you are with a man, then, well, you'd have a different encounter and a different statistic. So it's literally like that. Most people do not have alligators in their backyard. So if you do have one in your backyard, don't fuck with it. Don't touch it. Don't go near it. Don't quote statistics at it. Don't read up on Reddit. Just call the authorities. Let them handle it. Unless you have a gun. And the legislation allows you to take care of the problem. Hippos are also more dangerous. Yeah, hippos are incredibly dangerous. Like, hippos are very, very dangerous. But at least they don't go onto your lawn. So there's that. A gator is also an aquatic predator. Man, if it bites you, you're kind of fucked. Right? Like, as it's chewing your leg, you can't go, but you're an aquatic predator. Anyway, I'll end it here. I need to upload the videos on my other channels. Thank you for watching. Hopefully it was entertaining, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.